right, welcome to the Red River Valley. This is the show where we explore the who, what, where, how, and why of the extraordinary people who define our north of normal metro. I'm Conrad Fargo, and this is the Fargo Five. Today we have Marqelle Reid. Now, you had a different name when I first met you. I've known you for several years. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourselves, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Marqelle Reid, as Conrad said. I most lovingly go by Dr. Marq because I'm a pediatric prenatal family chiropractor here in Fargo-Moorhead. When you met me, my last name was Albright.
Albright.
Yeah.
But didn't it have a C in there?
It
was spelled...
looked like Albrecht.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my family's wicked German. And I don't say wicked German like naughty German. I mean like just we're very German.
The Germans. Yeah.
The Germans. So Albrecht is actually Albright, and been with my dude Michael. This will be, oh boy, math.
Michael,
13.
That's Mr. Reid?
Mr. Reid.
Yeah.
Been with him. It'll be 12 years this September,
Okay.
and we finally got married last summer.
Okay, so you were dating him when I first met you?
Yes.
Okay, because I only knew you more professionally, not because we met doing networking,
Yep.
which is, I talk about it a lot on the show. It's the very best way to do anything. I mean,
To meet new people.
there's nothing like it.
Yep.
Right? So we already now know who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And so you specialized in pediatrics. Was it always the case? I don't recall. You can only own so much space. Just chiropractic was what you owned.
That's fair.
Were you always specialized in pediatrics?
I have been, sure. So when I actually started studying chiropractic, I've always known I wanted to be a chiropractor since I was a teenager. My uncle dated a chiropractor in our small town. She was the new gal on the block, and so he dated her, and that was my introduction to chiropractic.
Oh.
And so at that point, I was like, oh, wow. Chiropractic, I don't have headaches and I don't have back pain. And so my mission in pursuing chiropractic was, how do I get people out of pain? I want people to live pain-free. And then came up here to NDSU, did my undergrad, moved to Bloomington for chiropractic school. And there was a free weekend seminar, and I'm a college kid. They have free food at weekend seminars. So I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to go get some free food. I have no idea who's speaking, what he's talking about. I just know there's probably going to be some friends there. There's going to be free food.
But you knew it was about chiropractic.
I knew it was about chiropractic.
Okay.
For sure.
But actually, I want to slow back down. I want it because we got a full hour.
Okay.
And what I like to focus on is kind of the very origin story.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be very particular, hinge point by hinge point.
Okay.
Your first exposure, that's exactly where I like to start.
Okay.
Is your chiropractor, you'd never known chiropractic before.
100%.
And
no experience.
Where was this? The uncle's girlfriend?
The uncle's girlfriend.
And who was this uncle's girlfriend?
Uncle's girlfriend's name is Carol McFarland.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Groton, South Dakota.
Did they end up getting married? Or you just remember that?
They dated a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm not going to remember the specifics.
Okay. Well, I just can't believe you remembered the name.
Yeah, well, it also made a huge impact. I mean, what teenager knows what they want to do for the rest of time?
Yeah.
Me.
And so,
I
right then and there. So I really, that is the show.
Yeah.
Is that story right there? Because I want to know all about it. So where was the city that you were at?
Yeah.
I want to paint a narrative. I want to tell me a story.
Okay.
You were, what city was this in?
So Groton, South Dakota.
Groton?
Groton. Do you know where Aberdeen is?
I don't know where I am.
Okay.
So South Dakota, which is, I believe, now I'm going off the cuff here, but I think it's south of North Dakota.
You are correct.
So
it's just down on a map from here.
Yes. Yep.
I imagine many of your listeners probably know Aberdeen.
Okay.
It's only a little less than 3 hours from here.
Mm-hmm.
So from Aberdeen, Groton is about 20 minutes straight east of there.
Okay.
So I actually grew up in a small town in the middle of nowhere, half an hour from either.
Do you know the population, or how does it compare to Fargo? It's way more rural?
Yep.
Did you have a target?
Oh, no, Conrad.
Okay. So this is
Groton
really rural.
is 1,200 people.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
And that's where you grew up?
I grew up on a farm in 30 minutes from nowhere.
You're a farm girl?
I am a farm kid.
Farm girl.
So I lived in nowhere.
Did they make you work?
For sure.
It's famous, right?
Yeah.
So this is also part of
Sure.
figuring you out.
Okay.
So both mom and dad worked in the farm then?
So dad did. Mom has been a nurse her whole career.
Mom's a nurse.
Mom's a nurse.
That's a real career. That's but adjacent to chiropractic.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So
Yep.
mom's doing medical stuff, and so she's leaving. Nurses, at least now, they work crazy hours. Was she gone a lot?
She worked a ton when we were growing up.
Yeah.
She held, oh boy, she worked in clinics, she worked in hospitals, she worked OBGYN. For a short while, she worked in.
So it was like you and Dad.
And I've had 3 little siblings. 3 little. I mean, they're not now. I mean,
younger than you.
Yeah.
You were the oldest.
I'm the oldest. Yep.
You're the oldest.
The oldest. The youngest baby in the family is going to turn 30 this year. Look out, everyone.
It's a one-way trip.
Yeah. So, Dad farmed. Mom was a nurse. So we came into Groton for school, for swimming lessons, for carnivals, for ice skating, for all of that.
Oh, you came into, so the 1,200-town Groton was the big city.
That was the town, yes.
And you guys lived on like a farmstead. But when I say you guys, it was you, your younger siblings, and Dad, because Mom was out nursing all the time.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, as a farmer, he's gone most of the time too.
Well, but he put you to work, or you were at home? Like
both.
What's it like? So people talk about, the good old days when, people had their own farmsteads and you put the kids to work. That's why you had 20 kids, right? 'Cause you need them to help out. But I don't know that I have a picture of
what that looked like.
What that looks like. Because as I have kids, so my eldest daughter, she's now 6. And, I always said, if she doesn't want to go to school, she can stay home and I'll put her to work somehow. Like I was bored throughout the school. It drove me crazy. I have crazy ADHD.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not going to torture her and force her. I'll give her the option to stay. She's never taken me up on it. She's starting to want to. And now I don't know what to do.
There's so many options.
I don't know what to do with
FM.
her. Well, I like to keep her busy during the day.
Oh, I mean, there's so many options, even if you're looking at like alternative schooling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just kind of dancing around, but obviously, like, I specialize in kiddos and family health.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 kiddos of our own.
Yeah.
And so, like, from a professional standpoint of taking care of a lot of families in the metro to just having my own personal vested interest in how do I best set my kids up, I have done legwork into a lot of the options in FM. So there are for schooling, for healthcare, for maintaining relationships. There's so many options for our little people. Yeah, which is so fun.
Well, I want to hear all about that too. So let's definitely
pin in that.
Yep, pin in that. Because what I want is the real life example of what Dad did with a 6-year-old on the farm. Like, did he drag you out into the field? Are you staying home alone during the day when you're not at school?
A little bit of both. We spent a lot of time riding in implements in tractors and things like that. Yeah. But every single morning,
those don't come with a car seat.
Yeah.
No booster seat or car seat.
Oh no, you are sure. Like maybe one of us gets to sit in the buddy seat, and then the other 3 are just like draped on the floor or behind a seat or. My grandparents, I was super lucky growing up. One grandparent set was 1.5 miles away from my parents' place. The other grandparents were 12 miles away. So I got to see a lot of grandparents growing up. And my dad's parents were the ones who were just 1.5 miles away. And we would spend a lot of time with those grandparents. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking about summertime, every morning my mom would like get out an old envelope and write a chore list on the back of the envelope. I swear to God, every single summer, my parents re-landscaped their yard just because it kept the 4 of us busy. Like, okay, you guys are hauling rocks.
At what age?
Oh my God, like young man.
Like 5, 6 years old? Like kindergarten and first grade? Or how old?
Yeah.
Really?
So
you're whipping them into shape. You're saying get out there and pick up rocks, kid.
Pick up rocks. We mowed the lawn.
Wow. At 6?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I was the oldest, and so my sibling, like, I've always been a rule follower, man. I am like the teacher's pet. I am not going to cause any waves, and so my siblings would not do their chores. And so, like, the closer it gets to time to, like, mom coming home, I'm like, oh, my gosh, their stuff's not done. Their stuff is not done. We are going to have a bad day when this happens. So then I would go to, like, okay, how do I piece this together, even if it just was, like, how do I make it look like I'm taking care of everything?
That's great.
So
that's great.
Yeah, so my mom would leave chores for us. Like summertime, my dad farms ranches. So he has land, has animal. I guess he sold his cattle 3 years ago. But growing up, we had cows, we had pigs, we've had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
My siblings have had turtles and geese and chickens and
he's in control of it all because being a rancher is very it's like self-employment almost, right? Like
100%.
you are the owner and operator
Yep.
of the farm. And did he have a bunch of employees or ranch hands? It was
it's
just
always
him and his kids.
Yep.
Wow.
So
That's
summertime, my dad was always the swimming lessons runner. And I mean, when you're talking about growing, cultivating, harvesting, there's not a lot to do in the summertime. So I guess my point of reference just keeps going back to summertime.
Yeah, because otherwise you were in school.
Yeah,
during
exactly.
The day. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and was mother with you at nighttime though? So
Yeah.
you saw her at nights.
Yeah.
So she wasn't doing traveling or overnights or anything
Nope.
like that. Okay.
She worked in Aberdeen, so she
Okay.
also was half hour away during the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
And so we spent a lot of time with dad in the summertime because he's not planting, he's not harvesting, you don't need to do a ton of interaction with cows, which is so, my youngest brother, when we were growing up, he always said he wanted to be a farmer and a physical therapist. And so for his young point of reference was I'll feed my cows at 6 a.m. and then I'll go do my physical therapy stuff. And then I'll come home and I'll feed my cows. So even just the innocence of kids thinking you need to feed your cows multiple times a day and oh, sweet little brother.
Yeah.
And so a good mix of messing around on the farm and working on the farm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the way you're brought up. You're seeing the medical stuff, you're seeing the self-employment, farm, hard work stuff, and then your uncle, is this on your father's side then?
This is on my mom's side.
It's on your mother's side.
Yep.
He's dating a chiropractor.
Yep.
And you said it had quite an impression on you. So what was that like when you come with this background of, okay, I could go mom's route and become a nurse. I could go dad's route and be self-employed.
Sure.
And was it surprising to you? Because my thought is, well, chiropractic sounds right in between there, right? Because you guys are very independent. Right? Compared to the establishment medical, working as a nurse in Sanford is very structured and corporate and, you guys call the allopathic, every standard way of doing things.
Holistic,
you guys are more independent, more free thinking, right? And that's very entrepreneurial, right? Like your father as a farmer. No?
Yep.
Was that the kind of the impression, or what was the impression you got when you first tell the story of meeting the girlfriend?
How it came to be? Sure. So even though, I've got a few thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, chiropractic is not a word. So chiropractic, I should have
Excuse me.
Well, I'm gonna save you, man. We got a lot of time together. So chiropractic.
Excuse me.
Is the word.
Is that like, I can't stand it when people say realtor? Go talk to your doctor,
Yes.
and then you could talk to your realtor. Somewhere there's a realtor named Connor Klinkenhammer.
Yeah. Extra enunciation that does not exist.
And so chiropractic, is that one of your pet peeves?
Chiropractic.
Okay,
yes.
so if you ever know a chiropractor and you want to needle at him.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yes,
great.
Exactly.
Good. I like to know how to harm my enemies. So
Yeah,
very
okay.
good. Okay, but so chiropractic. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. Second thought that I had, even being a nurse, my mom has a medical background. I would say she has a very, and it's funny, in our journey as I've grown stronger in my foundation of what health is and chiropractic's role in it, and sharing that with my family and with my friends, and now greater scale with our community and beyond that. My mom maybe has a traditional, conventional career in medicine. She actually thinks very simple in terms of, and very similar and aligned to a lot of my beliefs. And so, yes, she was a nurse, but we didn't run to the doctor for everything. I actually don't remember going to the doctor growing up.
Yeah.
If maybe someone cut off a hand, maybe that would warrant it.
Yeah.
That being said, if we had a headache, you took ibuprofen. And so that was my entry into I remember feeling headaches growing up. I remember having back pain growing up. I've always been a very studious person, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
I loved school. So I did not realize you could leave books in your locker. I carried all 57 of them with me at all times.
Yeah.
And whether that was the clincher or who knows what it could be, right? I mean, we're constantly inundated with the physical stuff, the emotional, mental stuff, what we put it, like whatever it might be. I had back pain and headaches as a teenager. And so my uncle starts dating Carol the chiropractor in town, and our town had never had a chiropractor.
Oh.
And
what year is this? Like 1990 something?
Oh boy. Yeah, something like that. Well, maybe like 2000.
Oh.
So I graduated 2008 from high school.
Okay.
I graduated 08 from high school. So yeah, probably like 2000, early 2000, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So I started going to Carol just because my uncle was dating her. I had no idea about what chiropractic was. So started seeing Carol and was like, wow, I feel really stinking good.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to like make sure I had a bottle of ibuprofen on me, or I didn't need to lay down for this. Like, this is pretty stinking amazing. And so that's why I also jumped right to telling you that story about being in chiropractic school.
Yeah.
Because my lived truth of what chiropractic is so much more beyond of like just living without pain. That is truly like bottom of the barrel expectations for our health. I even wore a shirt today. It says expect miracles.
Yeah.
And I'm hiding it by a sweat. I'm kind of chilly. So, I mean, but expect miracles is not just a fluffy saying on my shirt. Like, I believe that's truly possible in terms of if we're looking at our health, if we're looking at our relationships, if we're looking about career possibilities, if we're looking at finances, like there is truly magic to be made. Yeah, you got to make some moves. But truly, we are not meant to have limits, especially as it relates to our kids and our family health.
Interesting couple of words here. So when I hear miracle, I think miraculous. That's a religious term to me. Small town, also big on religion typically.
Sure.
But then you said it's magic. Which is it? Or or what are we thinking? How do we mean by these two words?
Both together. So, I do have a faith basis, and I know that regardless of what your faith basis is, or if you don't have one, we were not made to live less than. And when I say less than, I mean not comfortable, not confident, not clear, not calm, not like that is our default. That is the way we are made. So I know you're going to appreciate this analogy because I have known you for a while. So you think of a Rubik's Cube, right? Okay. And I don't know who makes Rubik's Cubes. Mattel?
I don't know. Rubik. Isn't it Rubik? It's his cube. It's Rubik's. It's Rubik's with an apostrophe S, isn't it?
He has his own company.
It's Rubik's Cube.
Maybe that's all he does.
It's his cube. Mr. Rubik.
Okay, you buy Rubik's Cubes from the Rubik guy. Okay, so he makes a Rubik's Cube and it's perfect. It's red, it's green, it's white. It's there's the sides, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then we bump along in life. And when I say bump, yes, I'm meaning like physically. If you look at what birth is and like how wild that is, babies come out of like something the size of a pocket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the birth. And then they're learning to crawl and walk and navigate social interactions. And we start putting academic requirements and standards on them. And then they're growing and they're developing. And then we're adults and we're maintaining jobs and we're working out and we're getting into car accidents, or God forbid, not car accidents. Like all of those pieces turn our Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not the way that we were designed. Okay. So when I say faith basis and also magic, I believe you have to have a combination of both. I believe that people are so used to, especially here in the Midwest, putting limits on themselves for what they see as possible. And as I said, I believe this filters into every aspect of life, but I see it especially with our health. Oh, well, so-and-so has got XYZ. So, I mean, like, not that big a deal. This is really like common for me to have the same XYZ. Common does not equate to natural or normal, I should say. Just because I know you and I talked a couple weeks ago about ear infections very briefly.
Yeah.
So, ear infections are super common. They're not normal. Our physiologies should not support ear infections. Okay. I also think of here in the Midwest, we have a tendency to say like, oh, it could be worse. Like we always know someone who is worse off.
Yeah.
Okay. This is especially true with their health also. But there is I I think the beautiful combination is like, it could be worse, and also it could be so much better. So being grounded and centered and grateful for like where you are, and knowing like, hey, there are people and resources and things that can be the vehicle, the driver to help me get to my next thing.
And those things will give you the miracles. What is it? What makes it a miracle? What makes it a miracle as opposed to just doing the work? Or is doing the work a miracle?
Doing the work is the miracle.
Okay.
I think so.
God helps those who helps themselves, kind of a thing, or
kind of a thing.
I'm maybe just hung up on the word. Like, to me, when something is miraculous, it is unexpected. No, like or not. I mean, you're the one who wants to make a big deal of the word, and so I want to get around
the full
like
picture.
What is it you mean about the word miracle. And how that how
it plays in. I think it's both. It's the unexpected, and also people are so used to the mundane. We were talking before the show and how a lot of the things that you do in setup and in preparation are not things you consciously think about and calibrate. You just do them. 95% of our day is spent in that autopilot. And so when things go right, I don't think we are taking the time to celebrate. I mean, you could look at your day and you could pick apart 10 different miracles on a day-to-day fashion. Yeah. Miracle, I think in itself, it carries maybe a nostalgic weight that we think like, if you have some sort of, religious background, people talk about miracles all the time in the good old days, regardless of if that's 2,000 years ago or if that's tens of thousands of years ago, there were miracles. Yeah. Why can't there be miracles today? Yeah. And why can't it be that someone bought your coffee? Or why can't it be that, dang, my car started the first time? Or, I truly believe that those are everywhere. Yeah. Miracles are everywhere. And it is our job as people striving to be the best versions of ourselves to seek them out, and not just for the sake of putting them on like this wooey pedestal, but doing the work to make that a reality. Yeah. There's something to be said about holding expectations and visions, but like if you're not doing anything to work towards them, it's all for naught, man. Like you'll be the person who at the end of the day puts their head in their pillow and they're still hungry.
Yeah. So Dr. Carol is taking care of you, taking care of a young Marqelle. Yep. And you're just like, this is amazing. I have been transformed. I have experienced a miracle. And so at that moment, you decided you wanted chiropractic?
Yep.
I'm sorry, a chiropractic? Hey, wow. I'm going to learn to get that read.
It's that autopilot.
Yeah. So at that moment, you are, how did it, tell me more about that. You were just like, this is what I want to do now. Or what? How did that?
It's honestly kind of just osmosis, just like you said. Like, how did it really come to be? I don't know if when we're kids, we are ever thinking about, I'm going to do this for the rest of time, right? I remember playing with my siblings, and I remember playing teacher. And I remember, like, I've always loved dance. I danced growing up. I remember thinking I wanted to be like, like the flapper girl from the 20s that had like the fun.
I don't know what that means.
You're going to find it on Google after this, or I'm going to send it to you. But like really beautiful costumes and just like big, bold, crisp movements. And so I think like playing pretend growing up, I wanted to be a dancer. I lots of times wanted to be a nurse also, because I had that modeled in front of me. And so when it came to how I decided, or it like fell into my lap that chiropractic was going to be my ride or die for the rest of time, I don't know that it ever was like but it just clicked one day. It was like, I'm going to be a chiropractor. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a chiropractor.
You don't recall the day that it was. You just know there's the before time and the after time.
Yes.
So when you graduate high school, you come up to Fargo to go to NDSU. Yep. Common part of the story. What degree did you go for at NDSU?
This is going to blow your mind. So when I sent in my paperwork, because I've always known I wanted to be a chiropractor, I put on my admissions packet, I wanted like pre-chiropractic. That's what I wanted. Well,
do they have a degree for that at NDSU?
No, NDSU doesn't have some sort of like a major or a program like that. Yeah. Most of their pre-professional, whether we're talking about, and maybe it's different. I mean, I graduated from NDSU 2012, right? And
my understanding is very limited. It is that they're almost hostile to the chiropractic. the academy is. Is that not the case?
I would say it depends on what lens you're looking for. I never felt like singled out, or
really?
I didn't actually know anything about hostility towards chiropractic or disrespect for chiropractic until I was in chiropractic school.
Gosh, you must live with the burden of Penn and Teller's show. That was really big for me when I was in high school. And they went after chiropractic. I mean, they mercilessly, I mean, they really, really, really went after it. And so that forever since then, my impression of chiropractic, I don't think that they changed much because, I think everything's a bunch of nonsense. So, it's, I think chiropractic's nonsense. I think allopathic's nonsense. Everything's nonsense. We're all a bunch of nonsense liars. But, I don't trust anybody. So it's equal opportunity hate, But one thing that did stick with me is, gosh, there's a huge rivalry between the allopathic and naturopathic segments. And so going to NDSU, which is, firmly part of the North Dakota, establishment
for sure
system, I would almost think, again, and this is 100% based only off of my impression from Penn and Teller's show that we can't name on the air here, but only from that, I would think, wow, they're going to be really hostile. But you didn't experience that at all? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
So
wow.
they didn't.
All right.
The tract that I fell into is I have a zoology degree.
Okay.
Zoology is in the study of animals. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I remember getting back you've been accepted into NDSU, into the zoology program, and I freaked out because love animals, do not want to study them, do not want to work with them. I like to do the people part.
Yeah.
So I called the registration office, freaking out, something got severely mixed up here. I do not want to study zoology. Nope. And they assured me this is where I was supposed to be, because at that point in time, they had a biology tract and a zoology tract. And the zoology program was closest aligned to, as I said, pre-professional degrees. So if you were looking to go on to graduate school after this. So there were dentists, pre-dental in my class. There was pre-orthodontist. There was optometrists, all within the zoology degree, the zoology program, because biology, they told us, was more plants and non-living things. The zoology tract, you're going to be looking at, yes, animals, but they closest aligned to humans. And so, some of the classes that I took at NDSU were wild. I skinned a muskrat for school. We had to find roadkill.
Wow.
And then skin it. And I kept it for a long time. His name was Scratty Scrat. He was terribly ugly to look at, but I was so proud of this thing.
Because there was taxidermy kind of skin.
Yes.
How do you take the dead skin and make it so that it doesn't, you tan it, right? Or no?
Yep.
I don't know
So
what that means.
you had to cut through the dermis, through the layers of skin, and you had to turn it inside out. And then did you have to turn it right side out to tan it? I'm not going to, clearly the process is not what stuck with me and the important part of that. I'm not really sure what lessons I drew from that outside of.
See, and that's, again, everything's nonsense. That's, what I'm like is, NDSU. They just wanted to shuffle you through. Because do you even need a degree to do chiropractic? It's its own, you don't get a degree first. It's its own track of thing, isn't it?
So some chiropractic schools do it different. Where I went to in Bloomington, Northwestern, didn't require a degree, but you had to have all of your prerequisites. So most people did at least 3 years of undergrad.
An associate's or?
Most people did at least 3 years of undergrad to hit all of their, because it's still a rigorous doctorate program.
Yeah.
So most people went through at least 3 years of undergrad before going to chiropractic school for their doctorate. So I chose to pursue my bachelor's degree before going on. I don't know, just to round out the experience. And also, in retrospect, my last year of college was my most treasured memories. I lived with my brother and a good friend from high school at the time. I had, it's funny because I thought that I had a really good handle on that time of who and what I was and what I brought to this world. And it's markedly different now, as all people might say. I would hope people would say they've changed since their college years. But I'm glad that I continued on. So I got my undergraduate degree and then moved to Bloomington after that for my chiropractic degree.
Wow.
And then was in Bloomington for, that program is just shy of 4 years.
Okay.
So
that's like 8 years of study.
Yeah, it's a lot of school.
Yeah.
But I always loved school.
Yeah.
So it was never like oh my gosh, this just doesn't end. It was this is just the next.
This is so much fun.
This is the next thing. This is.
Well, school is fun. School is in so many ways because you just do what you're told, all right? And you just jump through the hoop and you pass the test. You memorize everything, but then you got to graduate, and then you got to like find a job, right? And as chiropractors, often you're expected to establish your own practice, or do most chiropractors start under somebody else, or how does that? How was the beginning for you? What was it? So you graduate, they put the degree in your hand.
Yep. So chiropractic has a funny nuance, I would say. I don't want to say we eat our young, but there is maybe a well-held notion that a lot of people think if you don't go out right away and open your own practice that you are some sort of failure, which is very funny because look at someone who's like becomes an attorney. They don't start their own firm and people don't say like, oh, you haven't made it. But in the chiropractic realm, at least that was how I felt right away. So I became, I guess it's called an independent contractor. Yeah. So I was in an office, not Healing Touch actually, where I am. Well, the story's kind of backwards, inside out, and twisty-turny, so I'll just lay it down. My brother, at the time I graduated from chiropractic school, my brother and his now wife lived here in town, and they knew a chiropractor, and he was looking to bring someone into his office. And so my brother connected me with him, and we worked together for a year, and we just had very different philosophies and styles of practice. And like truly my passion has been taking care of moms and babies and families. And that was not what his practice was. Yeah. And so I was there for a year, and I gave him my notice, and I said, I don't know what the heck I'm going to be doing, but I know like this isn't where my heart is, and it doesn't feel right to be here.
Oh, good for you. And
it was at that time actually he connected me with Dr. Tiffany Johnson.
Okay.
She's the owner at Healing Touch Chiropractic. She's celebrating being in practice for 20 years this fall.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Been doing this for a while. And so you've been Healing Touch the whole time.
So I was at Healing Touch for a couple of years, and then I left and opened my own office.
Yeah.
And so
when did I meet you? But I met you like 7 years ago.
Oh boy.
Were you?
So I was at Healing Touch then.
Yeah, but then you left.
And then I left and opened my office.
And then now you've come back.
And then I've come back to Healing Touch. Jeez. That's what, I don't blame you for not keeping track of it.
Well, I can't. When this is the thing I say about the networking all the time. Even if you meet with somebody week after week after week, we only have so much real estate in our head.
For sure.
You own the entire, like, just chiropractor, Dr. Marq. That's what you want inside. There's no more detail than that. I can't imagine what I own in your head.
There's many hats, man.
Crazy guy. Yeah, just the crazy guy. But okay, so and that's where, because believe it or not, it's 11:45.
You're easy to talk to, man.
Well, thank you.
You're easy to talk to.
That's a good. That's a big compliment of the show. So just rounding out the last 5-7 minutes here.
Sure.
You go to Healing Touch. You go start your own.
Yep.
What is it that made you decide? What was where you were like, this is just not working. I got to go back. I got to go back to, what was it? Tiffany?
Tiff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dr. Tiff. I'm going back to Dr. Tiff.
Yeah, Dr. Tiff. That actually, the thought never crossed my mind. So in the time in my practice.
Oh, she came back for you.
No, we actually ran into each other at Hornbacher's. Like so serendipity at a day and time. Like I know that she doesn't do most of her own grocery shopping, and she was there grocery shopping, and I was there with my kid at a day and time that I don't normally bring my kid. So it was so serendipity, and we had.
It was a miracle.
It was a miracle. Exactly. So we ran into each other, and we just, it was a quick 10-15 minute conversation in the Hornbacher's parking lot, and we left, and she's like, we should hook up for supper. I'd love to continue catching up. And I was like, yeah, sure. I went in. I don't remember if I was leaving or one of us was in the coming or going parts. But I remember getting in my car thinking like, I probably won't talk to her for another 3 years. And that was not the case. We ended up hooking up at Spitfire. Shameless plug.
How is that a plug?
Just I love Spitfire.
Just because you love. Okay, you're not connected, and I know I love them too. You're not connected. Oh, okay.
No,
okay,
not
okay.
connected at all.
Just a side.
Everyone should eat a Spitfire.
Yes, they should. One of the things we used to do, and my wife has said I cut out the segment, was we used to ask, "Where's your favorite place to eat? Where's your favorite grocery store? What's your favorite everything?"
Okay.
Everything. But I'm more interested in your story.
Sure.
So
okay.
Please.
So
you meet her
connected
at Spitfire.
Yes, we met at Spitfire, and we were just talking about different things we saw for our community and what we wanted to bring to our practices, and came to the realization, wow, we could do this together and have the compound effect of having a sounding board, a team, a tough conversation when needed, all of those pieces.
You don't
and
feel
so
like Dr. Tiff had that in mind the whole time? And she's just orchestrating this elaborately, setting this up? This really is just a miracle?
This truly is a serendipitous, because we've talked about it at length before, because we hadn't, like, we fell out of touch when I left. You know, like, she's got a practice and a family, and like she...
When you have a family?
Yeah.
Like, how many kids did you have at that time? How long ago was this?
So it all happened super fast. I had one kid at the time.
How old?
Oh boy, 23, two and a half.
And so dad watched the 2.5. You didn't have any other kids, and so you're just going out for dinners, just you and her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to picture it.
How
in my
this
life.
all worked.
I'm trying to think how my wife could go get a dinner with somebody, and it would lead to changing our life. I'm trying to picture from your husband's point of view, like he watches the kid you go have some dinner with some old friend, and then now, oh hey, we're changing everything. Like,
that's exactly what happened. It slammed into place, Conrad. No joke. Like, she essentially offered me a place back in her practice. June, I was there in August. I had a baby 3 weeks later.
Oh, you were pregnant at the time?
Yeah, I was pregnant at the time. So, true. This is a miracle, man. Yeah. This is not something either of us were seeking out. This was like, oh, wow, I've been looking for, like, the next thing. She was looking for the next thing. Yeah. And they meshed.
It's amazing when that happens, right?
Wow, and it happens all the time.
Well, the more you roll the dice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the more, if you just do the same thing every day, you get up, you go to the same place, you see the same people, you never meet anyone new, you never do anything new, nothing ever will change. But if you can just keep rolling the dice over and over, every time you meet a new person or go for a meeting of some kind, and be open to the possibility, your whole life could change.
Will change.
I like that. I like the certainty.
Yeah, will change.
You know, I'm a hedger. I like to hedge. Yeah. Whenever AI will write emails for me.
Sure.
And then, like, I have to go and change everything to might and should. And I believe it will, because I never say anything for sure. But, okay. Well, and so with the last few minutes here, what does the future look like? You started with her. How you've been with now how many years back with her?
So I was there for about 2 years, and now I've been back. It'll be 2 years in August again since I've been back. Yeah. And we've actually added on another doc since then. So we've got 3 chiropractors in the office, and primarily taking care of, how cool is this? The families that were there when I was there the first time are families that have grown with the practice. So as I said, she's been in business for 20 years. Yeah. And like, we are truly a family wellness office. So a lot of people, when they start care with us, we're your ride or die. We are, as cheesy as it sounds, we are there to grow old with your family. Because when we talk about everything that our bodies do for us, it's not just when we get hurt and we have back pain that chiropractic comes in. Chiropractic is there to serve as like a foundation of, as the foundation. Your nervous system is all your senses, is your balance, is your coordination, is your digestion, is your sleep, is your hormones. Like, that's chiropractic. So I said earlier, like, nobody really cares about chiropractic. They don't, but they care about those other pieces of their life that they're either rocking at or they have concerns with that could be better. And that is where Healing Touch Chiropractic comes in, is how do we help you live to the fullest expression of yourself so you can be with your people, so you can pursue the hobbies and the passions and the professions that light you up, and you can do it without restriction. If that's a physical restriction, if that's an anxiety restriction, like whatever that might be. everybody's story is different. And as you and I talked about before, everyone's like story is beautiful. So we get to find the marrying place for how we can help to elevate all of Fargo-Moorhead, because as like each individual rises, so to speak, rises, then their family elevates, then their neighborhood elevates, then our community elevates. And I see so many, especially with young kids, new and in growing numbers of chronic diseases and conditions that just like when we were little were not things.
Yeah.
They were not things.
Yeah.
And truly, my role in that and my passion is, how do I change that?
Yeah.
How does this look different from my kids' generation going forward?
Well, you're clearly very passionate, and it's beautiful. If people want, we're rounding out the show. Well, before I have you plug, I will have you plug one more time.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to add, because you chose Whoop, There It Is.
Yeah.
And by the way, I always thought it was Whoop, There It Is. There's an M in there.
There's an M in there.
Speaking of realtors and chiropractic,
yes,
it's not Whoop, There It Is. It's Whoomp.
Yep.
With an M. Why that? Why?
Oh,
Can you just, why?
I am a funky soul. I love to dance. I love to move, and we don't do it near often enough. And people are always so anxious about like, oh, how will I look in every situation and encounter, right? But especially with dancing. Yeah. So like, I have no problem looking like an idiot because I have no problem with that. And I think we need to do more of that on the regular.
Absolutely.
We talked about putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations, and the only way to grow is to do that. Yeah. The same can be said about lame 90s music.
Right. Okay. Before we get that, go ahead, plug yourself. How can people find you? People listen to this story and they're like, oh my goodness, I need her to be, I need Dr. Marq to heal me with her touch.
I'm not going to heal anybody. Everybody's got the healing power inside.
Okay.
Chiropractic is the catalyst that opens up, that taps into that.
I love that.
So
I love that.
I would love to connect with anyone interested. Our office is Healing Touch Chiropractic. We're over in West Fargo. If you know where the big Harley Davidson is, just on the opposite side of Cheyenne. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Our website is htchiro.com.
Could you spell that?
Yeah.
HT and no dash or anything. It's all one word.
All one word.
And then Chiro is CHIRO.
You got it.
All right. And of course, that was it. I'm sorry.
That's
okay. And of
that's
course,
where you can find us.
I wanted to make sure to spell it because people might misspell Cairo. CAIRO.
Don't do that.
The city in Egypt, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's not us.
Okay. All right. And of course, I'm Conrad Fargo. You can find me anywhere. You can type in Conrad and Fargo. You're on Google. You're just typing around. You're messing around. Even, have you ever heard there's this website, Amazon.com? You ever heard of them?
Oh.
You ever? I know they're a little niche.
A couple times.
They're a little niche. If you type in Conrad Fargo, I'm for sale. I'm there. I'm anywhere. I'm anywhere you can type it in. Anywhere. Do you have an old typewriter? You have one of those old mechanical, you type in Conrad Fargo, I hear about it and I show up. You cannot type in Conrad Fargo without getting me. So you do that. Dr. Marq, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for the invitation,
Conrad. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we are going to listen to Whoomp. There it is.
Whoomp.
We will see.
And I'm going to make you dance like an idiot with me.
Sure, I'd dance. I love to dance.
Okay.
We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Party people!